Hey guys. This is Johnny Talk. Today, I'll be talking about the master of moving without ball, the assassin, Reggie Miller. Personally, Reggie Miller is the reason why I started watching NBA. When I was in junior high school, I bought my first ever autobiography, which is the one of Reggie Miller. I Love Being the Enemy is the name of the book. We can say that he enjoyed the feelings every time he got booed when he was at the guest court. According to him, he said it gave him the desire to fight. Actually, there are many three-point shot shooters in NBA, such as Larry Bird in the 80s, Stephen Curry who got 402 three-point shots in one season, and the #1 three-point shot shooter in the history, Ray Allen. But till now, if we really have to choose the greatest three-point shot shooter in the history of NBA, Reggie Miller will definitely be on the list for sure. So today, let's get to know this master of moving without ball and moving with a purpose, Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller is 6 feet 7 tall, weighs 185 pounds. He was the 11th pick on the draft of 1987. What we need to know is that, it was Indiana Pacers who picked him. However, by that time, Donnie Walsh, the manager of the team, was under a lot of pressure. Because during the same, Indiana University won the champion during the NCAA championship. They had Mr. Basketball, Steve Alford in that team, so that was why the fans of Indiana Pacers were so confused about the decision that Donnie Walsh made. In the autobiography, he once mentioned that, until he was 4 years old, he needed iron canes to support both of his legs. Because he was born with twisted legs and buttocks. The doctor once said that it might be difficult for him to walk. But this is so not true. Miller did not only got into NBA, he also got selected into the Hall of Fame. This is really a very inspirational and touching story. Miller started his first year from the bench. He played all the 82 games in that season. There was an interesting thing that happened during his first year. The game which they faced Boston Celtics. When Larry Bird was ready to do his free throw, Reggie Miller was trying to make noise to disturb him, and then Bird stopped, looked at him and said, "You do know that I'm the best at free throw, right? So you must be kidding me right now." Then, Larry Bird scored all 2 free throws. Reggie Miller said that he felt like an idiot at the time. What's more interesting was that, every single player on the court, including Danny Ainge, they all laughed so hard. In the second season of Miller's career, he became a starter player. He could get the average of 16 points per game. Second only to Chuck Person, who kept asking the top leaders of Indiana Pacers to pick Reggie Miller on the draft. Here, let's take a look at the Netherlands center Rick Smits. He joined the team in this year. He was one of the most important players in Indiana Pacers. During the season of 1989 to 1990, Miller got the average of 24.6 points per game, which got him into All-Star game. It was the first time ever for him. And since the season of 1989 to 1990 till the season of 1992 to 1993, he managed to have the average of more than 20 points per game. And for the playoffs, Indiana Pacers never have the chance to get to the second round. On the 28th of November in 1992, the game which they faced Charlotte Hornets, Miller got 57 points in this game, which is the best record of his career. The season of 1993 to 1994 was a very important one for the team. First of all, they replaced the coach by Larry Brown, who had 1,098 wins in his career. Second of all, Reggie Miller had only the average of 19.9 points in this season. He still managed to get into the 50-40-90 club. Third of all, Indiana Pacers finally got into the second round in the playoffs. They even got to the championship in Eastern Conference. They were facing New York Knicks at this game. At the end, Indiana Pacers lost to New York Knicks at the 7th game. But the 5th game of the series was a legend one for Reggie Miller. During the first 3 period, the Pacers' score was 12 points ahead of the Knicks. It was 70-58. In the 4th period, Reggie Miller got 25 points in this one, which got the team a victory. Also, in this game, Reggie Miller and Spike Lee, the #1 fan of the Knicks, they were on the screen together a lot. After Miller got 25 points in one period, the team was ahead of the Knicks by the record of 3-2. And what you need to know is that, Michael Jordan announced his first retirement in this season. So as a Knicks fans, it was really a good timing to win the championship. In his book, Spike Lee once said that, after this game, he was attacked a lot by the media and the Knicks fans. because they believed it was because of Spike Lee, who gave Miller the desire to win. They even said Spike Lee should have stayed silent during the whole game. During the season of 1994 to 1995, Indiana Pacers faced once again the Knicks at the second round in Eastern Conference. At the end, they defeated Knicks after the 7th game. And once again, they were on the stage of championship in Eastern Conference. But, one thing important, during the first game of championship, at the last 18 seconds of fourth period, the Knicks was 6 points ahead of the Pacers, 105-99. And then, it was time for the very Miller time. First, he shot a three-point shot, and also the Knicks made a mistake while doing a serve at the sideline. This gave Miller a great chance, so he took the ball and shot another three-point shot. Here we go, two teams then had the same score. It was unbelievable. After, John Starks of the Knicks had 2 free throws, but he missed it. At this game, Miller took the ball and tricked other player to make a foul to him, and that's why Miller got the chance to do 2 free throws. He didn't miss any of that, and the Pacers won the game by the score of 107-105. This game is also a very legend one, cause Reggie Miller got 8 points within only 8.9 seconds. Even Indiana Pacers had the chance to get to the championship in Eastern Conference. They got defeated by Orlando Magic eventually after the 7th game. Michael Jordan got back to NBA during the season of 1995 to 1996. Indiana Pacers was eliminated by Atlanta Hawks at the first round of this playoffs. And the sad thing is that, during the season of 1996 to 1997, the two main players, Rick Smits and Derek McKee, both got injured. And that made the team didn't make it to the playoffs. This season was also the Larry Brown's last season in Indiana Pacers. In the summer of 1997, Indiana Pacers replaced the previous coach by Larry Bird. Chris Mullin also joined the team at the same time. Larry Bird, Chris Mullin, and Reggie Miller, these 3 shooters were in the same team, and at the same time. Naturally, it attracted a lot of media and fans' attention. The season of 1997 to 1998, Indiana Pacers had the record of 58 wins/24 loss. Larry Bird also got the Coach of the Year award. What we need to know is that, this was only the first year in Larry Bird's coach life. What an amazing achievement. Indiana Pacers defeated Cleveland Cavaliers Caves by the record of 3-1 in the first round of the playoffs. In the second round, they defeated the Knicks by the record of 4-1. They faced Chicago Bulls at the championship in Eastern Conference. The Bulls wanted their 3rd champion at that time. After the 7th game, the Bulls got the 3rd champion eventually. But now, let's take a look at the 3rd and the 4th game. Chicago Bulls had already 2 wins during the series. At the key 3rd game, Miller scored 4 3-point shots, got 28 points in total. This got Indiana Pacers a win in the home court. At the last 2.9 seconds of the 4th period of the 4th game, the score then was 94-93. Chicago Bulls was 1 point ahead. At this point, Miller once again put on a Miller time. He went all across from the bottom line and pushed Michael Jordan away, then shot a 3-point shot, which got Indiana Pacers another win, even though the Bulls was the final winner of this series game. But the outstanding performance of Reggie Miller will always be in our hearts. The season of 1998 to 1999, the Knicks defeated Indiana Pacers in the championship in Eastern Conference. And the season of 1999 to 2000 was a big one for the team. Cause when Larry Bird accepted the coach offer, he said he would only be coach for 3 years, and this one was his 3rd year of being coach. During the playoffs, Indiana Pacers faced Milwaukee Bucks at the first round in Eastern Conference. At the 5th game, Miller scored 41 points, which brought a victory to them with the score of 96-95. At the 2nd round, their opponent was Philadelphia 76ers. During the first game, Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose got 40 points each, and this game is one of the best games in the playoffs history. After, the Pacers went straight to the championship. And this is the closest moment to the champion in Reggie Miller's career. In the end, the Pacers lost to Los Angeles Lakers with record of 2-4. At this point, Miller was already 34 years old then, but he still managed to get the average of 24.3 points per game. This was the highest record of the team. The center of Indiana Pacers, Rick Smits, retired in the summer of 2000. The main point guard and Chris Mullin immediately left the team. Plus, this was also the time for Larry Bird to leave due to his 3-year coaching promise. So in conclusion, this summer was a very tough year for the Pacers and the fans. after the coach was replaced by Isaiah Thomas during the season of 2000 to 2001. Indiana Pacers also made a trade with Portland Trail Blazers to get Jermaine O'Neal in the team, in order to match with Jalen Rose, Al Harrington etc. At this time, they started to lose focus on Reggie Miller, cause he was already 35 years old then. The Pacers lost to the Blazers at the first round of the playoffs. But Miller still scored 41 points at the second game, which was very impressive. Jermaine O'Neal did a very good job in the season of 2001 to 2002, he had the average of 19 points. 10.5 rebounds and 2.3 blocks per game. This grade got him the Most Improved Player award. In this season, the team made the trade with the Bulls. Now they have Metta World Peace in the team. Despite the fact that the team lost to Brooklyn Nets at the first round in the playoffs, Reggie Miller, who was 36 years old, still managed to have the average of 23.6 points. How amazing was that? At the fifth game of the series, Miller scored a three-point shot which brought the game to overtime. This key point showed the fans, how powerful was he still. The Pacers was eliminated at the first round in Eastern Conference in the season of 2002 to 2003, and this was also Isaiah Thomas's last year in Indiana Pacers. In the summer of 2003, the coach then was Rick Carlisle, and the executive was Larry Bird. This season was the best of the Pacers. They had their best record of 61 wins/21 loss. During the championship of Eastern Conference, the Pacers lost to the Pistons, who was the champion last season, with a record of 2-4. What we need to notice is that Jermaine O'Neal and Metta World Peace both got selected into All-NBA team. Metta World Peace even got NBA's Defensive Player of the Year award. So, depending on that, even the team didn't get the champion, the fans were still looking forward to the next season. During Miller's last season, which is the one of 2004 to 2005, Indiana Pacers was of course in the championship. They got the record of 6 wins/2 loss. On the game of 19th of November in 2004, this time, they faced the Pistons, and it happened to be the most serious fight in the history of NBA. Metta World Peace was suspended during the rest of the season, and the rest of the players, such as Jermaine O'Neal, Stephen Jackson, they all had the punishment of being suspended. In this season, despite that Miller was already 39 years old, he still managed to have the average of 14.8 points per game. It helped the team to get into the playoffs. At the second round of the playoffs in Eastern Conference, the Pacers faced once again the Pistons. Indiana Pacers lost eventually with a record of 2-4. At the sixth game of the series, when Reggie Miller walked out of the court, all the fans cheered and applauded for him. Cause this game was Reggie Miller's last game. Now, we're going to talk about how special was Reggie Miller. First was his skill of moving without ball. There are many ways to score, it can be face-up or low post. But most of the time there would be a possession problem. It's not that Miller didn't know how to play low post, but for most of the time, he would choose to play jam down, in order to get more chance to score. For example, after a pick and roll, if there was a communication problem between the defensive players, then, the ball would definitely not on Miller's hands, they might pass it to other players. So the strategy is to make Miller run without ball, so whoever was supposed to block Reggie Miller, had to follow him during the whole time. Otherwise, if there was an open up, it meant there was a high chance for Miller to score. And this was one of the reasons why lots of players didn't like the job to block him, because they had to follow his steps the whole time. To say it in another way, it made the basketball game into a running game, which was quite funny. Second, he always put a Miller time when it was needed. During the entire career of Reggie Miller, he only got into All-Star game for 5 times, and 3 times for the All-NBA team. Compares to other famous players, this was quite a piece of cake. But because he always did some amazing shoots when it was crucial moment, so whenever we talk about the best shooter in the history, his name would always be on the table. And the third is that, he was a highly efficiency offensive player. And also his career true shooting percentage is 0.6139. It's the 9th place in the history. His defensive rating is 121.48, is the 2nd place in the history. According to these two numbers, we can finally know the reason why he only had 13,499 attempts, which is the 32nd in the league, but could still score a total of 25,279 career points, and be the 21st place in the history. The fourth is that, he could never stop doing trash talks during the games. and did not afraid to have some physical conflicts when it was necessary. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were also like this. The fifth, if we want to get to know more about Reggie Miller, then we must know his sister, Cheryl Miller too. He always sees his sister as his idol. When she was still in junior high school, she was already a famous female basketball player all over the United States. He once mentioned a funny story in his autobiography. One day he scored 30 points, and he wanted to share this news with his sister so badly. So when he arrived home, he told it to his sister, and she replied, "Oh wow, how nice." And then he asked her the same question, then she replied, "Oh, only 105 points. The most funny part is that, when his sister said this, it was like no big deal. It made Reggie Miller suddenly didn't know what to say. In fact, he really looked upon to his sister. And a little secret here, his sister is so pretty. Even he did not get any champion in his career, but this does not decrease the love from the fans. And he once said that, a king shall never leave his kingdom. He also did that, during the 18 years of his career, he never left Indiana Pacers. In the statistic of VORP, he is without a doubt on the #1 place. We can say that he's the representation of Indiana Pacers. His VORP rating is 66.07, which is the 20th place in the history of NBA. And also, he scored a total of 2,563 shot. It's the 2nd place in the history. His field goal percentage rating is the 12th place in the history. From all of the above, we can see how great and powerful was he. Hoping that more and more people can get to know Reggie Miller through this video. Who is your favorite star? Leave a message below.